Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. So, I am just noticing that our relations with the United States are not as great as they were before, probably because the USA generated a whole heck ton of infamy over here. So, we're going to start improving relations with them again. Let me just take a quick look at... Yes. Okay. Our liberty desire is going up, despite the best efforts of Great Britain. They are... Part of that's because they're infamous. That infamy is going to be done in about a year unless they keep doing stuff. But we are also continuing to increase the size of our military. So let's bash away here. Let's bash away. Let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling. I am building one. Strictly speaking, I probably don't need this government admin, but I think it's reasonable. Let me take a quick look at where my road maintenance... Okay, my road maintenance is currently in Manitoba. And I ran myself out of authority. My authority situation is a little bit difficult. I might... If I cut one consumption tax, that's going to be enough for 2 road maintenance decrees, and I think that's going to be worth it. Wow, USA is really rolling all over Mexico at this point. That's really rough. That's really rough. Okay, so this is going to help both of these things get built. British market's a little bit low on glass, which is going to make things a bit difficult. Oh, I have access to machine steel tools. Now, do we have rubber in the market? That's right, because I got vulcanization. And I really did start on third base here. Not third base, but at least part of the way through. Okay, we have 1 rubber plantation in the entire market. Let's take one of our tooling workshops and put it on machine tools, and let's see if that supports a growth in rubber output. Okay, yep, now there's a rubber shortage. But is the 1 rubber plantation hiring more? Doesn't see... Okay, a little. We're supporting a little bit of rubber growth. This is not ideal, my nerds. So we are suffering a shortage in tool outputs, but the other one... Yeah, we're still producing quite a bit, even with this rubber shortage. We have an export tariff on rubber, which is interesting. Okay, here we go. 6.5 from rubber plantations, 7.95. All right, so we're rolling. This is 2 rubber plantations. 1 in East India, Mysore, and 1 in Gambia. So we have a total rubber production capacity of 40, which means that we have the ability to produce... We're consuming all of our market's potential for rubber production. I did that. But I'm creating a market. It's going to be good. Let's go ahead and throw this government admin up above here because this number's making me nervous. Questionable practices. Released patients in the Fort Douglas Asylum have steadily denounced the practices involved in their supposedly medical treatment. Mistreatment of the sick, withholding of personal letters, and disproportionate punishments were among the charges. They would make us sit for an hour, if not the whole day, in silence. We couldn't talk to any other patient, not even read a book. They would only excuse us to go to the restroom if we were lucky. Otherwise, it was just a rusty chamber pot. No food, no water. If we were not sick when we were admitted, we would be so within just a few weeks. Their judgment cannot be trusted, salty Anglican Church. We need to entirely revise how the asylums work. Extra expenses for the government, but +1 standard of living for the lower and middle strata in Manitoba. Or the Anglican Church can take over the asylum administration. They become happier, but we lose a chunk of bureaucracy. So what's our bureaucracy situation right now? We're actually generating quite a bit of bureaucracy. So I'm going to say their judgment cannot be trusted. And unfortunately, that's simply how we're going to handle things. Can I do something to make the Anglican Church feel happier? If I go to poor laws, that will make some groups happier. Maybe not. It would be nice to be able to go to wage subsidies, but I can't necessarily get there. I'm still at technocracy. Now, there was a period in history where when you did this, it would tell you what the outcome would be on your legitimacy. And it doesn't seem like that's the case anymore, which is a little bit of a shame. Generally, technocracy is a pretty highly legitimate government, but you need to be able to put all of your market liberals together in a block. And right now, the industrialists are my main fellows. Oh, it's because we're protectionists here. That's why. When John McDonnell is not heading up the situation anymore, we'll probably be more liberal, and that'll be America. What are you doing? And that'll be more legitimate. Is the end of that sentence. America, what are you doing holding Baja California? Why are you? I mean, I guess I was about to say that's Mexican territory, but really all of this is Mexican territory. How's my investment pool? It's doing pretty well. It's doing pretty well. I think I maybe have the ability to increase construction even further, but let's finish with our railways and see what that does to our cash flow situation. How are we with Britain and our legitimacy, or our liberty desire? Okay, it's going down again. It's going down again. They've increased their power projection. We're still working on getting our prestige up, and we are still economically dependent on them, unfortunately. Oh, now we're going down at a... Oh, interesting. Okay, so they've continued to increase their power projection in response to me strengthening my stuff. So, where are my shortages? My shortages are in the secondary units. That's making me a little bit nervous. But I think it's still reasonable. Investment pool's doing rock solid. Again, I'm at interventionism. So throwing a lot of cash into, so building continuously is not always the right call. I am paying a significant amount in interest at this point. So knocking away at that is going to be important in terms of my overall whatevers. Now I do have the ability to draft treaties. I do. Interesting. Ooh. I would love to have a support independence from the United States. Would they eat my debt? What do you mean? It's only 4 million pounds. This would be interesting. So I would host a power block embassy from the USA. USA, what's your power block? You're the joint front. You're a cultural commonwealth. Okay. Shared canon 1. Extra tech spread for society. Alright, that's pretty good. They've got a slot over here. I think this is potentially still the right call. I forget what shared canon does. Oh man, and the French Republic is getting themselves absolutely rocked by Britain and others. Yeah, Prussia's in there. Okay, interesting. They've got, Britain has a defensive pact with Prussia and an alliance with the Ottomans. So this is going to be a real headache if I try to wage a war of independence. But getting support for my independence is not necessarily a precursor to declaring independence, right? And that does give me ticking independence. So let's go ahead and make this proposal here. I just want Newfoundland. All right, the Convention of Sherbrooke. I really want Newfoundland. So let's wait till a week passes over. I think one already did, but let's wait again. All right, and let's take a quick look at where we are now. Okay, now our independence is going up, because we have a support independence from the United States, and that's providing 0.2 liberty desire per week, which is quite good. Now's the point where I start to hang tight and chip away at my debt. And the question is, do I increase taxation? My standard of living is not great. I think I'd rather stay where I'm at. My investment pool is continuing to increase in size, which is exciting. Filing cabinets. The use of filing cabinets in the government administration has drastically increased the effectiveness of the state bureaucracy. No, the future isn't in flying like a bird, nor in roaring along in a train. No, the future is in filing. I love bureaucracy, extra bureaucracy, or store information about our citizens, free progress on identification documents. Let's take a quick look at the tech tree. I think I do need... Yeah, I think free progress on ID documents is for sure a good call. So let's do that. We're still not in the tier 3s for society except for steel frame buildings, which we are chipping away at. Now, is there anything else? I've got a real debt situation here. But, again, hopefully with my liberty desire going up, I can continue to make things happen. Now, what if I... Russia's domineering. So it's not necessarily the right call to get a support independence from them. They would support my independence. They won't do this because they're doing it for nothing. And I don't have anything they want, sadly. So that's a no-go. What about India? I wonder what this does. This is dicey here. Now now India's become the Dominion of India, which means I believe they've successfully won their journal entry. They've done the thing they need to do. Their liberty desire is high and increasing. So if it's India, the United States, and me, Brazil is wary. Brazil, let's be better friends. I have no interest in creating a problem for you. And I think I'm going to increase the size of my construction sector. So let's go ahead and throw in 2 more levels of construction sectors in Manitoba. And those should get employing pretty fast. And from that point, my private sector should be building even more. And that'll get my investment pool moving downward in price. Although, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I shouldn't have done that because I'm about to be in steel frame construction. Although, I'm not going to be in steel frame construction for another 36 months. So maybe it's the right call. Do I still have a rivalry with the Russian-American company? I don't. I could stand to improve relations with them a little bit. And we're in a rubber shortage once again. The engines of progress. The manufacture of steam engines has become a profitable industry in Quebec, thanks to our sound investment in locomotive technology. These engines are already being employed across new Canadian railway lines. All aboard for Fort Edmonton, courtesy of the good folks at the Montreal Steam Locomotive Company. Getting out of Prince George has never been easier. The dining cart is restricted to first-class passengers only. Stowaways will be prosecuted. All aboard. Extra railway building throughput for 5 years. More engines, more locomotives, extra motor industries throughput. Or we're on track for innovation. Free progress in steel railway cars. I'm going to go with that progress in steel railway cars. Steel railway cars is very good. Steel railway cars is how we're going to get out of experimental trains and into steam trains, which I am pretty excited about. Did I swap my mines up for better methods? This is development. This is rural. Yes, I mostly did. These sulfur mines would not be more productive with rail transport, which is a little bit of a shame. Again, I think they've largely been overproduced. Well, no, we're producing a lot of sulfur here. Is there anywhere else I can build gold mines? Not in my own territory. How much am I making from minting now? About 40k, of which about 20k is from GDP, 12k from bonuses, from mines, and then a 20k bonus, and 500 from base value. Okay, all right. So yeah, I'm making good money off of these gold mines. Short on ironclads as well, which is interesting. Now let's take a quick look. Why did these 2 rubber plantations fall in productivity, I wonder? Gambia and East India Mysore. What's going on in Gambia? Something going on in Gambia? There is something going on in Gambia. There's a war on in Gambia. Gambia is occupied by the French. That's what's happening here. French Senegal has got Gambia partially locked down. Interesting. Well, more rubber for the others then. I wonder if it's in my interest to build some rubber industry myself. I wonder if that makes sense. Oh, my goodness. Need to be on whaling fleet. Where's the rubber? Oh, I don't have the ability to build rubber because I don't have... No, I'm sure I've got the tech. Rubber mastication, I've sure got it. Alright, hold on. Hold on. Hold everything. I say not pausing the game because I'm a goof. Okay, I can build my own rubber plantations in India. I think I'm going to build just one over here in Mysore, and we'll just kind of go ahead with that. Language in the classroom. Cree students sometimes use their native language in Canadian schools. Some have called for teachers to penalize the use of these languages, forcing children to speak the official language of Canada. You've noticed it too, right? He gets angry when anyone talks in class, but he always gets angrier when we're talking. Maybe he thinks we're talking about him. I think he just doesn't like being reminded that we know something he doesn't. Schools to teach them the proper language. 10% of Cree pops become more radical. Extra assimilation. Increased radicalism from discriminated pops, or their language is part of their culture. Reduced assimilation. Reduced radicalism for discriminated pops. Salty petite bourgeoisie. I really want to keep my treasury bonds bonus, and my petite bourgeoisie are not as happy as I should like. So I think for now, unfortunately, we're going to have to make them speak the proper language. A famous cafe. After a chance meeting in a cafe and a thoughtful conversation, Honoré Meloche has recommended that Friedrich Shea von Koromla, currently residing in Canada, be granted permanent residency. If you're in need of a place to stay, I could hardly neglect to offer you an invitation. It would be shameful for me, following such a magnificent correspondence, to fail to pursue your talents further. So Friedrich Shea von Koromla is a market liberal. He's from Austria. He's Ashkenazi, which is kind of Germanish Jewish. He's a market liberal aligned with the industrialists. It's interesting. My two options are: we could hardly ask for a more esteemed endorsement, stronger industrialists, and he joins the country, or Honoré Meloche's decision-making is clearly questionable, salty industrialists, and he gets reduced popularity. I'm gonna bring in Friedrich. I think that's cool. Stronger industrialists is good for me. Makes my government more legitimate. We now have a traditionalist heading up the petite bourgeoisie, which is interesting. Lobbyist lectures in Fort Douglas. A man employed by a powerful member of the Canadian American Union is delivering lectures and pamphlets addressed to targeted constituencies in Fort Douglas. One lawmaker writes to a fellow politician, "Each day he finds me. I know not how. I'm quite disturbed. What are his aims? That hired emissary of the Canadian American Union haunts the doors of the Canadian Assembly, much like the ghost of the murdered Banquo. Make it clear that lobbies are responsible for the emissaries they hire, extra legitimacy, weaker intelligentsia, or any concerns about the emissaries' behavior are unfounded, stronger intelligentsia." I'm going to go with the first one. I'm almost always going to go for more legitimacy if I can get it. And that's going to put me actually at a legitimate government, which is going to make things easier for me. Wonderful. Excellent. Excellent. Now the question is, do I improve relations with Russia? I think I do. I think I do, because Russia are still natural allies in my quest for independence against the British. And they're in position 2. Now, Britain is very, very far ahead. India is second, then China, then Russia, and the United States after them. The United States is generally a good bet for the long term. But obviously it's still the early game. It's 1870, so sometimes the United States can get all the way across here and become a mega power in the short term, but I don't know that's necessarily... I don't know how that's necessarily going to go. So how's our diplomacy? Our liberty desire is not going up as much as I should like. And why not? Has something changed? Great Britain's alliances and defensive pacts haven't changed. Is my fervor going down? I'm not sure. I don't rightly know. How is... Oh, almost had a Kirby there. How is fervor? Franco-Canadian fervor is going up. Anglo-Canadian fervor is also going up. You have set points at 52 and 21. Okay, so Franco-Canadian fervor is not going up. Curious. Quite curious. Now, why is English fervor so high? From literacy and war casualties. Literacy of Anglo-Canadian and Franco-Canadian is not that much lower than English. But the war casualties number is huge. And they're getting from pops in countries that acquired pan-nationalism. And their academics count is much higher. Yeah, I haven't been really building universities all that much at all, so I've been a little bit skimping on my on my academics bonuses. I should increase those. Now, I still have plenty of population in Manitoba to build up. I could build a little bit more construction. My investment pool is going down at a very respectable rate, but there's a lot in that pool. So let's build a little more construction capacity. Again, I may regret this when I completely outrun my customs union's ability to furnish steel, but I'm hoping it doesn't end up becoming too much of a problem. Steel is only moderately expensive. We're quite short on rubber at this stage. Now, where is rubber? Rubber is quite expensive. There's a lot of our rubber is being sold overseas, which I don't love. There is an export tariff, I believe. Yeah. So that's a little bit of a curious animal. Again, this is kind of all we can do. A lot of our cash is being siphoned off by the British. Kind of a comical amount, frankly. Just to be completely honest with y'all, it's sort of silly how much of our money is being just eaten by the crown. But that's your way of it when you're a subject, right? Like that simply is the nature of things. You simply have to tolerate the crown eating all of your money. This is kind of how the British Empire functions, but it also means that if they become infamous, things get harder. That's what happened. That's what happened. That's why my liberty desire isn't going up as much anymore. It's because they're not as infamous now. Well, I'm still getting a healthy bonus from that army power projection, and I could spend a little bit of cash on getting that further up. Now, I am continuing to chip away at my interest, not as fast as I would like, but my construction sector... Ooh, Algonquin National Awakening. That probably won't affect my politics. I'm going to unpin the new machine. I've never had that event really had anything come of that. I do have a Path to Liberalism event. I'm not necessarily going to do that, but we'll see. And I've got an Urbanized Canada event. Again, I've only really pursued urbanization in Ontario and Quebec, which I should at least work on Northern Columbia. This is historically, in the historical run at least, a fairly urbanized area. And I could use coal mines, but again, reduce construction efficiency. I could make a lot of money putting coal mines in Northern Columbia. With wood and sulfur, it's a good spot for building paper mills as well. Ah, Northern Columbia and Southern Columbia. Excellent. You know, I just realized I do not have the Idaho Territory incorporated. So let's go ahead and hit that button. How long is that going to take? That's going to take 22 years. Ah, because the only homelands here are Nez Perce and Paiute people. Alright, well, them's the breaks. That's going to take some time, and that's going to be what it is. I may want to build another layer of government bureaucracy, but I think I'll continue to wait, because I'm feeling pleased with my current economic situation, and I don't want to spend any more money. Now, I am subsidizing quite a bit of railways, but I think that's necessary. I'm spending a lot on paper. Is paper still expensive in our market? Not really. No, it's pretty expensive. It's pretty expensive. I could make a pretty freaking penny building up glassworks. Have I got lead living in the ground anywhere here? That's not the button I meant to hit. Lead mines. I've got lead in the Maritimes. Ah, Van Diemen's Land has been eaten by one of the other Australias. So the Maritimes are a good spot for glassworks. And indeed, there's glassworks here already. And more on the way. Cool. I'm loving this number. This number is making me very happy. So Van Diemen's Land. Okay, so Australia has been formed. Australia, you don't know I exist. What if I were to simply ignore Dixie and pay more attention to Australia? To Oceania. Because Oceania... Wow, Australia is quite a weak economy at this time. What about the Cape Colony? Oh my gosh, they're even lower down. Oh my goodness, Cape Colony is down extremely bad. That's tough. That's tough. Okay, so I'm up here now. So Great Britain. Let's talk Turkey. I can't demand a state because you're in a war? Because you're in a diplomatic play. You're in a diplomatic play in the Philippines. Right, because you stole the Philippines from Spain. Okay. What if I requested autonomy? Okay, if I... And there's the ironclad. Okay, so if I request an increase in autonomy and owe an obligation, there's a chance they would say yes. I'm going to do it. Owing them an obligation is not bad. And it'll spike my liberty desire if they say no. Excellent. All right, beautiful. So now I'm a dominion. And I've become unaccountably short of... Oh! My British Union Party has become unhappy. My British Union Party consists of my petite bourgeoisie, and my petite bourgeoisie were providing me a bunch of extra bureaucracy. So they're unhappy, and that's why my bureaucracy is now short. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's go to development. Ooh, I've got a higher amount of trading available. Excellent. So, once again, we're going to focus on where we've got shortages of taxation capacity. It looks like it's just Ontario. I'm going to need 2 government sectors for this. Let's put one in Northern Columbia. I've been talking about developing Northern Columbia. Let's put one there. We'll just spend a little bit of cash over the next 4 weeks doing this. Now, in terms of our construction capacity, I've got 20 construction sectors. So if I go to steel frame construction, that is going to generate a demand of a nice even 1,000 steel in the market. Now, our current setup with steel is what? Steel's currently... We're not too short. It's going to be expensive. That's the nature of things, but it's also going to be enormously profitable long term. So part of the reason getting an autonomy increase is extremely good is because now my autonomy has fallen to the middle, but it is going up, especially with support from the United States. And being a dominion is a lot better than being a crown colony. I tell you what. For one thing. That doesn't really explain that. Oh, no, I am still under colonial administration. But I could go to a republic. Go to colonial exploitation, but that doesn't feel useful. Russian-American company damaging relations. Interesting. You don't want to be friends with me, and I, frankly, can kind of see why. Now I have my own diplomatic independence, which is interesting. Russia is damaging relations. That's curious. I guess now that I have my own independence, things are looking quite different. Well, interesting. Japan has a friendship with Russia, which is fine with me. I would be delighted to be better friends. I put together an interest in. Well, fine. Russian-American company. I don't need you. I put together an interest in Australia, and then I didn't have the influence to actually increase my relations over there. So, let me see now. Again, investment pool doing very, very well. Having some unrealized taxes due to Sir John MacDonald here having expensive taste. The man has tastes. He's a gentleman of wealth and taste. Alright. What else do I need? Sarah Living's doing okay. Britain's improving relations. Good on you. Good on you, GB. Mexico relations are cordial. Could be better, could be worse. I don't have anything to say over there. Now, what about other countries? France, I can improve relations with Prussia. I can improve relations with Austria. I think I'm going to do them in turn. Now, do I have any good rival candidates? Not a lot. I could rival the Dutch East Indies. I could rival Denmark. I will rival Denmark. And I will rival the Dutch East Indies. And that'll give me a little bit of extra influence to play with. Now, Denmark, you are independent. You're a minor power, just like I am. Even though I'm a much larger power than you are. Dutch East Indies, my economy is twice the size of yours. Denmark, my economy is almost 10 times the size of yours. So that's interesting. Dutch East Indies, of course, they become independent, is going to break up, but also a lot of their GDP is owned by the Netherlands, which is not shocking. Speaking of which, I'm also experiencing a lot of GDP ownership by Britain. But them's the breaks. They've done that to keep us entangled, which is what's keeping my my liberty desire lower than it would normally be. Now, I do still need to work on developing light industry. I do have a lot of wood, so furniture manufactories are a natural thing here. There's socialism. Cool. Where's luxury furniture? Okay, luxury furniture's here. Furniture's here. So there really is a market. There really is a significant market. I am enjoying chipping away at my interest. Desire not going up as much as I would like. Now, is there a GDP comparison in this scale? There isn't. There used to be, but not anymore. Only prestige. Okay. Alright, we're good. We're good with that. 7 months till steel frame buildings. So I think after that, it's production tech. We do steel railway cars. We do... Actually, maybe we circle back over to military. Because I can get a lot of prestige building... Do I really want to spend the stuff on gantry cranes? I don't think so. What have I got spreading? I've got the monitor spreading. I'm gonna do it. I know it's a little bit silly, but getting gantry cranes is gonna allow me to produce my own ships, and that's really good. Now you might be asking to GenCat, why aren't you building anything? And it's because my private sector is building a lot of stuff. We're rapidly developing, and the economy is growing like crazy. Buck wild, in fact. Ranked by GDP, I'm number 8. Which is very good. I wonder why... I wonder what that... I wonder... Can I set this to show total GDP? Well, I guess part of the issue is that, like, that GDP is not necessarily part of... It's hard to say. It's hard to say how it actually works. But cash flow is very good. I wonder if... What if I did a little bit of building? Cash flow is still good. Cash flow is still positive. Ooh, a Cajun National Lincoln. Cool. So glass and engines are both going to be extremely productive. We've reduced concern. Oh, because the trade unions. The trade unions are big mad. You know, I'm starting to think that this political concessions thing is just not as good as... maybe it's not being calculated properly, or maybe it's simply unclear. I don't think that's very good. Maybe we lock in our industrialists with a poor laws system. Let's go ahead with that. This is not going to bother anyone except the landowners, and you know, the landowners can suck an egg as far as I'm concerned. Oh, and actually the trade unions are happy about this. Okay, what is... We're fighting the Russians. Alright, that's okay. A mobilization will be expensive, but not that expensive. Now, do I have the ability to add my own war goals in here? It seems I do not. Pressure sides of the British, okay. Do I wait to mobilize? I think I wait to mobilize. I think that's the answer here. Because escalation is ongoing. They want Senegal and the Ionians and Canada. Well, that's fascinating. Russian Canada would be a really fascinating situation. I don't think I want to do it. Alright, they've put a force there. Ottoman Empire sides to the British as well. We are all on attack. Yes, we sure are. Alright, beautiful. We're costing ourselves a pile of money here, but it's while we're building, and that's not so bad. And the investment pool is getting some cash of their own, so that's good. So I'm gonna guard this front. This means that probably Britain will not be able to lose this war, or at least will not be able to lose me without things. I haven't decided if I want to... I would love to become a protectorate. Being a protectorate would be extremely chill. Popular playwright endorses reform. In the midst of the debate surrounding poor laws, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the industrialists, has staged a widely acclaimed play whose politically laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. The man's viewpoints may be somewhat partisan, but sir, you cannot argue with his prose. Poor laws will be on everyone's lips now, extra enactment success chance. This sure puts the industrialists in a good light, stronger industrialists. Or let's ensure the play gets a wider international audience, extra prestige. I'm just going to go with the enactment chance. That's going to bring us up to 50, which is really nice. Can I negotiate with anyone? Only the landowners, and I don't really care about them. And there are steel frame buildings. Beautiful. So, from here, I recognize I'm going to need more government help. There's the war popping off. So let's start by converting some of our buildings over to steel frame. Actually, because we've got Great Britain in the market, I might be able to simply convert them all at once. Although it's really glass that's providing a that's kind of capping my ability to build up. I could spend a bunch of cash to build more glassworks, or I could simply convert the things and allow the private sector to do its work. I think I'm going to do that. I think that's what we're going to do. So now our investment pool is building super duper fast. So let's put some armies in Europe. Still a little bit shocking that I'm going to leave the 1st Canadian Army here in Canada. And I'm going to send the 2nd Army over to Europe. It's still a little bit shocking that Great Britain and the Ottomans and the Prussians together don't seem to be able to take Russia in a fight. Does Russia have... Russia has a lot of allies, but they're all smaller states. Yeah. Finland, Bukhara, Kokand, Lahej, the Baltic Governorates, the Russian-American Company, and Egypt. Okay, Egypt is involved in this. Okay, so we're devoting a lot of resources to Egypt. That's part of what's happening here. Is there anything going on the Egyptian front that matters here? Britain's going for the transfer of Egypt. All right, so that solves that. Rousing speech captivates the public. This afternoon, Sir John Macdonald, leader of the industrialists, delivered a fiery speech advocating for the enactment of poor laws. Making an appearance before the public in Fort Douglas's main square, John Macdonald's powerful rhetoric left even his most embittered political opponents impressed. Excerpts from the speech are already being circulated across Canada, fanning the fires of an already roaring debate. It should ease the path to reform greatly, extra enactment success chance. Or, performances like this reflect well on Sir John Macdonald and his cause. He becomes more popular. We get not as much enactment success chance. The industrialists get stronger. I'm going with that second one. That just makes sense. Gives us a little bit of extra authority to play with as well. So maybe the answer is I send this army to the Egyptian front to close that out. I think the answer is yes, because that'll free up units to go over on this side. No, because I think the Prussian front's really the main. I see the Prussian front as the main front. I'm going to stay on a defensive. I'm going to maintain a defensive posture, and hopefully that'll help things be chill. Now, obviously, the investment pool is draining at a pretty significant rate, but we're building a ton more. In fact, I think at this point, I've chipped away at my national debt pretty significantly, so maybe now's the time to get building and not strain the investment pool quite so much. Northern Colombia is still. I still have dreams of making this area, of urbanizing this area. I've got the resources for good paper production here. Yeah, and there's plenty of wood for... Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So I think next time through... so let's move our road maintenance decrees. Although, actually... The private sector is building a lot in Ontario and Quebec. So we'll keep those decrees there. An absent mind. There have been reports of Nepomuk Obermeyer, leader of the armed forces, not attending meetings or fulfilling his obligations. We can no longer ignore his absence. Obermeyer barely even responds when we call his name. A blank stare. He almost doesn't blink. Let's go for a walk, we tell him, and he nods in silence, and in silence we walk. A doctor needs to see him. He removes his psychological affliction but reduces popularity. He can get the help he needs in Asylum. He is exiled from politics. The armed forces become unhappy. He'll be sent to an asylum. He's a minoritarian traditionalist and a South German. I think a doctor needs to see him. I think that's a person I'm happy to have in politics. The front in Prussia seems like it's actually doing a lot better force comparison-wise, so I'm going to maybe move forward here. Excellent. We're in review. Very good. Golden New South Wales. Very good. Now, I'm tempted to put the first army out there also, and I think I'm going to, because here's the thing. Again, I'm sorry for being selfish and perhaps even cavalier with the lives of my fellow Canadians, but here's the thing. The more casualties I take, the more fervor is going to increase, and fervor increasing is going to make Canadian independence more likely. Why are we trending downward now? That's bananas. I need pan-nationalism real bad. Now, this will require... Going to poor laws will require some additional institutional investment. I could simply dial back law enforcement. I'm spending a lot of institutional investment on law enforcement. I think I'm actually going to do that, because I don't think... Why are we low on supplies up here? Shipping lane effectiveness. Well, I can't do anything about that. That's a British issue. Shipping lane effectiveness, that's a British problem. Hey, Britannia, why don't you go ahead and rule the waves? Oh, I'm a little short on convoys. Okay, well, I mean, my convoys are being raided, so that makes a certain degree of sense. Let's build up ports in the Maritimes. 12 weeks, that's going to cost us. Ew, that's a significant supply problem. Maybe we also need to build up ports in Quebec. So this is going to cost me a whole barrel of cash, but it's not for that long. How's the national debt? It's not great. Prisons of the Poor, a stall event. Some social reformers among the intelligentsia have spoken out against the proposed poor laws, viewing them as an attempt to make poverty itself a crime. If I may bring your attention to the design of the most ambitious workhouse plans, you may notice a striking similarity to our most modern attempts at constructing ideal prisons. This is because they are prisons. Prisons intended to house people who have committed no crime, where the purpose is not justice but punishment, and exploitation of the weak for its own ends. The poor are a burden on society, a crime in itself. Reduce enactment success chance, intelligentsia upset. Or there must be ways for this new system to respect personal liberty. Reduce enactment success chance. Workhouse regulations is added to poor laws. Increase political strength when receiving welfare. Reduce dangerous working conditions. Reduce bureaucracy costs. That's all bonuses. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm gonna do that second one. Well, it's not all bonuses. Hi, France. Let's be better friends. Spain. You don't know who I am. Prussia? You don't know who I am either. Alright, well, it's a process. It's a process. Now, does Russia have war support protection? Yes, because the Egypt front is not yet closed out. But the Ottomans are moving fast over there. There's Wallonian mass immigration. Excellent. I'm always happy to have mass immigration. Now, let's take a look at society. Okay, I am starting to accrue a nice supply of casualties. Again, I'm sorry if this is a grisly way of referring to the lives of my fellow Canadians, but it's simply pragmatism is what it is, my nerds. I am a world power, and I need to move forward. I need to move forward with independence, and the only way we're going to do that is by getting out from under the thumb of our overlords, Great Britain. Speaking of which, how are we doing with that? Our liberty desire is going down right now, partially because Great Britain has all of its armies mobilized, which is making them much, much stronger than us militarily. But that's okay. Alright, so we are fixing up our convoy issue, and that is increasing our organization, which is making the war a little better. And there's our convoy issue fixed. I am going to build the other port. I still think that's valuable to do long term. Okay, so it does seem like my net cash flow is good when I'm building one building. Law advancement, alright, 62%, very nice. So let's talk about what I want to build. I think I want a furniture manufactory here. I think that's the most sensible way to do things. Wow, predicted earnings are low because the production methods are very old school. But when the production methods are not old school, the predicted earnings will be higher. I'm going to go to luxury furniture production. I'm not going to go all the way to precision tools. I don't think there's that much demand for luxury furniture in the British market right now. Okay, front's looking really, really good. We're moving forward here in Russia. And what is Egypt's capital right now? It's not Dongola. Is it Blue Nile? It's Blue Nile. Alright, so the Ottomans are making their way downtown, as it were. 1 second, my nerds. I had to sneeze. But I'm not sneezing anymore. Canada's nothing to sneeze at in this run, I tell you what. This whole situation is interesting. I wonder why we're occupying what we're occupying. It's curious. I would like to improve relations with the Russians. In the long term, I think there's a benefit to that. The Ottomans, the Prussians, all these other folks. Interesting. The Dominion of India's liberty desire is going down. Oh my goodness, there's a huge modernist revolt in China. Which means... Oh, interesting. So the Russians didn't get pulled into this. Which is curious, because the Russians often get pulled in. Canadian-American Union offers opportunity. The Canadian-American Union has offered us an opportunity to establish an alliance with the United States of America. The lobby has offered to use their connections to smooth the negotiating process. The negotiations, done under the table with a representative of the American government, have been long and arduous. The American representative knew they were dealing with a group without the power to match theirs, and they had adjusted their strategy accordingly. Nevertheless, they had come to an agreement. Nothing in writing, but that was hardly important. When the government sent the official copy, if they did, they would find there was already a drafted response waiting in Washington. We would be happy to pursue this, adds lobby opportunity, or this is not in our interest. We would be happy to pursue this. I would be delighted by this. So, United States. You don't want an alliance. You want unilateral investment rights. Nothing else you want from me. I was really hoping for that. Alright, well. Can't get that right now immediately, but perhaps eventually. Now, is this modifier already... Oh, they're liking it better. They're liking it better. %20 chance. No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for now. Alright, and we've actually got sufficient occupation. Punjabi uprising. I knew that was going to happen. I was paying attention to what's going on in India. I definitely didn't completely ignore it. Alright, so Russia's lost their war support protection. Heck is going on with our infantry situation? This is not good. Let's put another block of infantry in northern Colombia, and actually for the first Canadian Army we'll do the same in Saskatchewan. The play for power. Michael Panett, I think that's how that's pronounced. We're talking about he's Anglo-Canadian. Michael Panett, leader of the intelligentsia, has made a remarkable play for power in the capital in order to secure a spot for the intelligentsia within the government. However, it's not entirely clear if they should be rewarded for their novel tactics. There's only one light on in the street that leads to the intelligentsia headquarters. There's also only one light on inside. There, Michael Panett relaxes among the sumptuous mahogany furniture and velvet cushions. The lamp is identical to those that have been sent from the east. The ends justify the means, and our means are very, very justified. It's difficult not to believe him when he offers an inviting seat by his side. Stay hydrated, kids. Michael Bennett should be recognized for this. Much stronger intelligentsia, 25% stronger. Or not all is fair in love and war. Weaker intelligentsia and and angrier, saltier. Let's go with... I can't really form a legitimate government with the intelligentsia, but that is the kind of the end play of technocracy. So I'll say he'll be recognized for this. That's fine. That's not that much stronger, all told. I'm going to move 2nd Canadian Army to India, and what I'm really doing here is just getting them out of Russian territory so that they don't get stuck there. Capital interests. The interests of the landowners in the lucrative trade with the United States of America has led them to align themselves with the Canadian-American Union. Does the increased volume not permit more risk? Quite the opposite. When a deluge of money enters one's pocket, one becomes predisposed to mania. An extra coin to a waiter, a formerly shocking fee paid off with a smile. If one is not careful, one ceases to look at their ledgers at all. They will pay more than they ever did, and this is the road to ruination. An excellent point. Will it justify the deployment of warships? It had better. If it does not, perhaps a donation will. A toast to our prosperity, landowners joins the Canadian-American Union, or our relationship should remain strictly transactional, weaker landowners. I'm going to say a toast to our prosperity. I like the Canadian-American Union. I do wish to align with the United States long term, so I think this is a sensible way to go about things. Now, when Russia exits this war, that will be the end of the war. And there's reinforced concrete. Excellent. Great Britain has enforced military access. Oh my. What? Is Russia infamous? Kind of. What's this war about? Humiliate Austria, cut Russia down to size. How curious. Okay, so this is a major war that we've been now added to. So this is, on our side, it's the Austrians, their subjects, the Hungarians, Brazil, Great Britain, obviously, Prussia, Circassia, and me. On the Russian side, it's just Russia and their subjects. Okay. Interesting. So, unfortunately, the 2nd Canadian Army is already in Ottoman territory, which means they're completely exiled and I can't give them a different order. Which is a shame, because it would be nice to be able to get involved in one of these other fronts. And there's poor laws. That has put us at a shortage of bureaucracy, but we're almost done reducing law enforcement, and that should give us the bureaucracy that we need to sort that problem. And there it goes. Beautiful. We got there. I did it. I claim credit. Well, gorsh. I'm going to put this army on defense while they recover their ability to function. Because that situation could get really, really bad. There's crushed Punjabi secession. Okay. What's going on with you? Are you... So you're in Punjab. You're in Britain. Why can't you get anywhere? Can you not cross the Dominion of India? The Dominion of India is not called into our current war. I see the issue. Alright. Ooh, don't love that. I need to get my army power projection out. Tell you what. I'm going to transfer my my second army into my first army because I can't. They can't reach them. Well, Victoria 3. This was the only. This was the. This is a bug. This is a bug, Victoria 3. You can't just go. Well, you can't reach them. They're not supposed to be stuck here. Well, anyway, I need to stop building new stuff for the moment because I don't have any money. But now I've got the monitor. Whatever happens, we have got the monitor, and they have not. Can I improve relations with the Prussians? Not at present. I need to build a navy. I need to build a stronger army, and I need to build a navy. Hopefully, I'll be able to get this army home. Maybe the answer is I just build a new army. Now, I can't do this. Why? It says I can't do it, but it's not. It's not telling me why. Yes, I want a new army. Weird. I'm hoping this army isn't stuck here permanently, because if this army is stuck here permanently, that's going to be a major problem. They shouldn't be. I should be able to walk through the Dominion of India. Maybe the answer is, can we get military access? Doesn't seem like it. Well, I'm going to send this proposal. We're going to try to... There we go. Montreal Protocol. Very nice. Looks like the Qing Modernist Revolt is going to win, which will be interesting. There's still an autocratic monarchy, but they've got proportional taxation, which is wild. My standard of living is really going up, which is making me feel super duper good. And there's farms to factories completed. The industrialists have expressed their satisfaction with the direction being taken by the country and its newly built factories. There's only one possible direction, forward. Progress is like a train that doesn't stop, doesn't wait for anyone. You're either in or you're out. We've done this for our people, extra loyalists from political movements for 5 years. That's very good. Or, and we shall support that train, stronger and happier industrialists. I'm going to do the first one. I like having a lot of loyalists. All right. We've nearly got hold of Ingria, which is the capital of Russia. Let's take a quick look at our fervor. I have developed quite a solid number of war casualties at this point. I've almost got pan-nationalism, so that's going to increase my set point as well. Convoy situation's a little tight, but that's okay. I still don't really know what to do about that army. Like, Britain's not pulling Dominion of India into the situation. I'm getting a little bit more from support independence now than I was before. Oh boy, Brazil's having a hard time. They're the number 8 great power in the world. What could I do to get support independence from you? Power block embassy? No. They don't want it at all. They like the British too much. Alright, well, them's the breaks. What about you, France? The Second Republic. Hey, you want to support my independence? There we go. Can't do the same with China, unfortunately. Great Britain military exemption. We are no longer forced to join wars waged by Great Britain. That's funny. Liberty desire is going up, though, because our fervor is going up. which is important. I'm getting a lot from ticking support and dependence. Once this war's over, I'm hoping that Great Britain can go ahead and give me Newfoundland, which is a place where I would like to be located at. I really hope I don't have to simply disband this entire army, because that would suck. Again, I'm hoping once this war is done, we'll be in a better spot. Russia does not have war support protection at this time, so that's likely going to solve things. Now, Egypt is a subject of Great Britain's. There's a certain amount of preparing for this war that I would like to do beforehand, but on the other hand, I can't afford to spend too much cash because I am in debt and I'm paying a significant amount of my take-home in interest. And you know me. You know how much I desire not to be paying my take-home in interest. With French and American help, I might be able to win a war of independence with the British. Particularly if India is also involved. Australia, what about you? You don't want to support my independence because you're happy with the way things are going with Britain. Alright, that's fine. Them's the breaks. Okay, 1st Canadian Army returned from exile, but 2nd Canadian Army is still doing a thing. Aboriginal National Awakening in New South Wales. Delightful. Wow, I really goobered myself putting the 2nd Canadian Army over here, I gotta say. Hey, there's mutual funds. Wonderful. That's actually very good, because that's going to help my cash flow balance quite a bit. It reduces my interest prices and increases my minting. On top of that, it should allow me to do another industry rights thing. Now, lead mines are typically not very profitable. But what about Quebec Metalworks? If I give Quebec Metalworks industry rights over steel mills... Oh, that was the entire button. Nice. Oh, I should give them investment rights. That was something I should have did. Alright, well, them's the breaks. When's my next tech that works on that? It's investment rights. Banks, right? Yeah, it is. I could queue in investment banks. I am getting a lot from British tech spread. And again, like, having ticking liberty desire, it's not just about getting independence from the British. Although it is about getting independence from the British. It's about... And there we go. So Russia's now been cut down to size. Does that do anything? Not sure. Okay, this army's on their way home. Okay, so this army is just completely bugged out. Alright, so the only way to deal with this army is to simply annihilate them. So we'll just disband this entire army. Can I now transfer you to 1st Canadian Army? I can't. Okay, so this guy is just stuck by himself off in the middle of nowhere forever. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. We'll create a new army. Actually, we'll set the home HQ to... Okay, can't move it because I don't have any battalions. Alright, that's okay. That's okay. Let's put a petit bourgeois guy in there. Now, I need some infantry. We'll do 6 in Manitoba, 4 in Ontario, 5 each in northern Columbia and Alberta. For artillery, we'll do 5 in Quebec and 5 in Manitoba. And then for cavalry, we'll do 5 in northern Columbia. And that's the army. I also am a little bit short of bureaucracy. Am I having a shortage of taxation capacity? No. So that's okay. Let's put another one in Northern Colombia. We're developing Vancouver. I'll put that ahead of everything. I think that just makes sense. Again, I can't... I wish I could do something with this guy. But I cannot. Maybe I should simply give him a promotion. That would be an extremely silly answer to me stranding him in Punjab, but, you know, them's the breaks. Alright, can I improve relations with you yet, Prussia? Doesn't seem like so yet. So let's go ahead and move our interest from Oceania to Europe. And that's going to allow us to have smiley, happy fun times with the Prussians. Now I know what you're thinking. Smiley, happy fun times with the Prussians? That doesn't sound real. And you know what? You're kind of... I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's not right. Alright, investment pool's looking pretty good. I could actually probably reduce the size of my construction sector, but I don't wanna. I don't wanna. I think maybe once this... Oh, and now I'm paying a lot in construction costs. Urgh. I'm building a lot of barracks. Maybe I should reduce the size of my construction sector. Let's... but you know, I mean, that construction capacity is not hurting anybody, right? It's fine. It's fine. We're, you know, I'm paying for it. I'm getting a lot of cash in my investment pool. It's fine. I think maybe at the end of this, we'll build another furniture manufactory. So how much is this likely to... Yeah, 2.6k predicted earnings. That's quite good. Now, do you want to be on precision tools? You do, actually. Interesting. I would not have suspected that. You are more profitable under precision tools. Because that's pretty rare. It's rare to have any kind of a shortage of luxury furniture to the point where precision tools is actually profitable. But hey, the circumstances are unusual. I'm Canada, we're special. Let me just transfer my... Let me just refill my water here. Staying hydrated is very important when you're playing video games for, like, a comical amount of time. Like 3 hours at a stretch. I don't know if we're necessarily going to go for 3 hours. Eventually my evening is going to start. But, you know, I think I'm going to ride this kind of as long as I'm having a good time and can live with it. So, cash flow's doing okay. We're not paying quite as much in interest, but we still have a significant national debt, and that's only going to go up as our as things increase. Let's go ahead and increase conscription by a little bit. What I'll do is with the Third Army, I've got a lot of conscription capacity in Ontario, which is interesting. So we'll go up to here, so 15, and then we'll do 10 for artillery as well. I think that's 10, right? Yeah, that's a nice clean 10. And then we'll start raising a more professional force as time goes by. Population is doing pretty well. Standard of living is doing really well. I've really better production methods have really produced quite a surplus here in Canada, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. Now, Britain, you're still having fights. Gosh dang it! Why must you always be having fights? Now this is an interesting. What war is this? Okay, here we go. We got the Prussians, and the Prussians shooting at the French shooting at the Bavarians, going for Rhineland and Nord Rhineland, and the so the Prussians are fighting back here. So I could get involved in... I can't get involved in this. I can't get involved in this because I don't have an interest in the right location. But I can still see it. Oh, no, I can get involved. I just can't quite yet because it's still the opening moves. So... Oh, wait, hold on. This is a different thing. This is the one. Okay, this is one I'm not involved in. Alright, it's fine. I misunderstood. So, Prussia, let's be better friends. Austria, let's be better friends. Now Prussia. You can't support my independence. Alright, that's okay. Austria. What about you? Well, that's probably not an ominous sound about your politics. You do not want to support my independence because you like the British too much? Yeah. Alright. Well, them's the breaks. It'll be better later. Roman Republic and the two Sicilies are shooting each other. So Roman Republic is what was once the Papal States. So that's a very interesting situation down there. Now, Brazil is having a slave revolt. And I do not have the ability to intervene in that, which is a shame, because I do love shooting at people who keep slaves. United States, how would you feel about an alliance? How would you feel about an alliance with investment rights? You might. 55% chance, let's do it. My Canadian-American Union will be happy if they say yes, but they said no, so that is what it is. Untrained hands. Children working in the furniture manufactories in northern Colombia have suffered injuries trying to operate the machinery used in production. After examining the boy's hand, the doctor sat back down, turned to the mother, and sighed deeply. Well, I'm afraid your son is never going to become a great musician, he said. But then again, perhaps that was never one of his more likely prospects. Keep children off the factory floor, reduce dependence income in northern Colombia. Or, these new factories need all the employees they can get, angry trade unions, angry intelligentsia, increase mortality of laborers in manufacturing. I'm just going to do the first one. The child labor creates a whole host of problems. Our cash flow is doing okay, but we're not using our entire construction capacity. I'm still happy with reducing my interest payments. I wonder if building more logging camps is the right call. Here, we're up to urban center level 2, so that's pretty good. Now, what about... Yeah, okay. Now, Saskatchewan has a level 1 urban center. Manitoba level 2. I think Manitoba, we also want a furniture manufacturing here as well. Because we've got plenty of logging capacity that's not really being fully utilized as much as it could be. And it'd be cool if it could be used. And one way to do that is to build up local demand. Now, is furniture still moderately expensive in our market? It sure is. Okay, so we're doing right. We're doing well. Rubber is also extremely expensive in our market. Now, one thing I'm going to need to do before I check out of Britain is to build up some trade capacity, because I need to be able to buy all the materials that I've been sort of just having brought to me in British convoys. Cash flow's doing okay. Investment pool is building a fair amount. This furniture manufacturer is doing well. You still like where you are? They still like where they are. Interesting. Oh, you know what? Set you to privatize. I'll set you to privatize as well. So this level of positive balance is going to be generating basically a it's going to be chipping away at my national debt at a rate of about 100,000 every 4 weeks, so 1 million every 40 weeks. So that's a reasonable amount even while I'm still building, which is pretty good. So I'm feeling pretty happy with that. Let's take a quick look at our market once again. Glass is still crazy expensive. And porcelain too, so, you know, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong feeding glass to the British Empire. So maybe that's the next place we go in terms of construction. We simply build as much glass production in the Maritimes as we can. Maritimes is pretty close to having a level 5 urban center. Oh, interesting. The number's 1 for each 90 now. That's curious. I wonder if that's something special that I've got for me. Nothing I can see, although countries have a lot of modifiers. I also notice my liberty desire is going heckin' up. Because Britain's got infamy now, and because I've got all that support and independence. Hey, Britain, are you in a war right now? Some kind of war? They're committed with Majesty, and the Orchan radical revolt. I just want to get Newfoundland. Britain. What can I get for Newfoundland? I can't believe it. I can't believe I am simply barred from taking Newfoundland by the fact that the British Empire is too messy to be able to give me that territory. This is unbelievable. How absolute dare. I'm going to start improving relations with the Russians. I think having better relations with Russia may be potentially good for the long term. They might be willing to support my independence. In fact, they pretty much would be. Oh no, they're oh, pan-nationalism, excellent. So that's not gonna generate much for me so far. Diplomatic ties with Brazil lost. Well, that's a shame. But perhaps another time. Again, I do need a navy, and I do need a better army. One day this general will be able to come home, but today is not that day. Do I build a navy now? I think maybe. But let's perhaps start by building... Wait, do I have the... No, because I don't have gantry cranes yet. I have the ironclad, so I can still build military shipyards, but I can't build shipyards to produce any ironclads that I need, but not other stuff. Anywhere I'm short on taxation capacity? I'm a little surprised I'm just fine on taxation capacity in the Maritimes, just because I keep building up here. How close are we in terms of taxation capacity? We're really just fine. I'm getting so much from appointed bureaucrats and the other stuff. So let's go ahead and... Nah, we building the Maritimes is a sound strategy here. A sound strategy. Now, I'm actually quite low in interest in debt, so I could focus more on building up now. Economy is very healthy. So if I built up, these tooling workshops are not profitable, but they could be with machine steel tools. And I'm not completely outrunning our rubber production capacity. Now I could also build up rubber production in other areas within the customs union. I think I'm actually going to do that. Oop. A little bit of a misclick there. then maybe a few more in... Okay, Mysore's maxed. Anywhere else? A little bit of capacity in Guatemala and a little bit in the Mosquito Kingdom. And then some in Guyana. But those territories are not necessarily likely to flee the Empire with me if I get my independence. So I think the next place we'll go is Malabar. Because I got mutual support and dependence with the Dominion of India. So that means that when I get free, they'll get free at the same time. The biggest ask is the Russians. If I can get in good with them, then I can be in a good spot. Hamburg is improving relations. Very nice. Britain, are you in a situation right now? You're not. Okay. Give me Newfoundland. Give me Newfoundland, Britain. Britain, give me Newfoundland. Give me the Newf. Dang. Well, okay, my liberty desire is going up. Let's see what happens when let's see if they'll say yes when I get over 75. Because that's like one of the primary reasons to give away territory to your subjects, is to chip away their liberty desire. Ooh, there's ID documents. Nice. Alright, let's build a few more. Can I own the gold mines? Ooh, I could own the gold mines. But what I need for my economy is rubber. So we'll build up Malabar. Heck it. We'll rubber max in Malabar. We'll just do it. We'll go buck wild. Anarchism spreading. There's open hearth process. That's very good. That's going to allow us to produce a ton more steel. Of which I am producing quite a bit already. And soon we'll have steel railway cars. Now, there will come a point when I really need... Actually, I feel like now is a good time. I could go to covered markets. I don't want to necessarily just yet. Ooh, I can go to publicly traded. That's good. I don't have my own artillery production. So that's something I need. Oh, I hit the button that crashes the game. Here we go. Let's put it in Manitoba. Let's put artillery production in Manitoba. Mutually beneficial. Now that we have more publicly traded companies, we should focus on what comes next. I don't see the problem. What's wrong with more money? Are you telling me if they offered you more, you would say no? It's not about getting more money. It's about who's getting more money. The rich get richer, it would seem. This might affect our politics, stronger industrialists, stronger trade unions, or maybe we can use this elsewhere, extra progress towards international exchange standards. I'm going to go with the extra progress towards international exchange standards. I think that's really, really good. So, I am pretty low in... Okay, here's what we're going to do in debt at this time. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to hit the trade center button. And we're just going to build trade centers anywhere we don't have them. Getting a baseline amount of trade capacity is really good for the country because it means that anywhere that's got either excess production or insufficient production can use that production elsewhere. Investment pool is doing really well with the public sector building a bunch of things at the same time, so that's very good. Knowledge sharing broken between Prussia and Oldenburg. Okay. So, relations are good with the Austrians. They're feeling protective towards me. They probably still don't want to be shooting at the British, but that's the nature of things. I think from here, I think this is my point where I invest in a navy. We'll put that navy in the Canada HQ. We'll build 5 units of monitors in northern Colombia, 5 units of monitors in the Maritimes, and then 5 units of ironclads in Quebec. And I think we'll actually go up to 8 units of ironclads in Quebec and 12 units of monitors there as well. And what this will do is it will allow us to have a very rock-solid naval presence. Not a hugely strong naval presence, but a not completely absent naval presence. Now, I do have the ability to build steel-hulled ships, but there's not enough demand for steel-hulled ships in my market for it to be profitable just now. How much demand is there for steel-hulled ships in the market? Not that much. Quite a bit's coming from abroad as well. This will also allow us to improve our overseas representation. Now, going up, are we still going up in Liberty Desire? Fervor is still pretty weak, despite my having gotten so very many Canadians killed. It's a tragedy, really. And I think maybe the answer is universities. I know some of you are gonna be biggest mad about that, but I think that's simply what the answer is. Now, I need a little bit of command capacity in this fleet. Let me see. We got an intelligentsia naval commander. He's direct. That's a good character. He's a radical. This guy's a liberal. He's ambitious. He's a convoy raider. We'll put the naval commander in there. Precious sites of Bremen. Okay. This is something we could potentially get drawn into. Hey. No, I can't get anything for supporting one side. I recognize the irony of going, I'm finally feeling good about my cash flow situation, and now I'm building something that's basically just completely an expense. But them's the breaks. I'm not loving the fact that this army seems to be having a hard time getting fully staffed, but can't do anything about it right now immediately at the moment. Let's go ahead and start. Hold on. There's a smarter way to do this. Mobilization methods. Oh, I can activate field hospitals. Yeah, let's activate field hospitals. For the sake of uniformity, I'm going to do the same for this other army. Rail transport, rail transport. That just makes sense. Alright, naval bases are getting built. Recruitment is happening. Now the question is, do I build myself... Why is the urban center here only... I thought they were at 4 before. What happened? What's going on in northern Colombia? You're producing too much hardwood? No, that's not the issue. GDP growth continues to be excellent. A doctrine of iron and steam. The introduction of vessels with metal-skinned hulls represents nothing less than a revolution in naval warfare. Near impervious to traditional types of shot, Admiral Louis Adélard Michaud assures us that Canadian domination over the seas will be absolute. While wooden ships with iron men might beat iron ships with wooden men, it sure doesn't hurt to have the armor on our side. This will make our line of battle invincible, extra Navy defense. Metal prows, metal rams. What could go wrong? Extra Navy offense, reduced Navy defense. Our candidate rules the waves, extra prestige from Navy power projection. I'm just going to say this will make our line of battle invincible. It's all benefits, no drawbacks. We're very nearly clean of our national debt. Nepomuk Obermeyer retires. Who's our guy in our main army? First Canadian Army needs another leader. Let's go with this charismatic offensive planner aligned with the Petit Bourgeoisie. The Petit Bourgeoisie are quite strong at this stage. They would be able to increase the legitimacy of the government by aligning with them, so let's do it. This does give me the ability to go to freedom of conscience. If I did this, this pisses off my armed forces. We've got a liberal in charge. But that's not why. I know why the intelligentsia are against it, because they're anti-clerical. Church and state. Hold on. Let me see what's happening here. Okay, it's not liberal. It's not jingoist. It's not loyalist. It's not patriotic. What the heck is happening? Because I have minoritarian traditionalist movements, this is going to make them... No, it's not. It's only going to... Wait a minute. This doesn't... Okay, I think this is right and the other one is incorrect. So, I'm going to start here. This is going to give me a little bit of extra authority to play with. I do have someone I can negotiate with, but whom? The industrialists. Interesting. The shallow draft solution. Designed for coastal defense operations, what monitors lack in ocean-going capabilities, they make up for in cost-effectiveness. Admiral Louis Adelard Michaud has informed the Admiralty in Fort Douglas that his fleet will keep any foes away from Canadian waters. Sir, while it might indeed look like a cheese box on a raft, I can assure you that the 15-inch guns she carries in that box of hers are no laughing matter. Secure shores means secure commerce, extra trade center building throughput. Let us orient our naval doctrine around them, extra navy defense. Or we don't win by having the best ships, we win by having the most ships. Reduce navy offense and defense. Increase military shipyards building throughput. I'm going to orient our naval doctrine around them. I think that just makes sense as a solution to our problems. Why am I going to freedom of conscience? Because I want to have a little bit more authority. I like having authority to play with. And this is going to get me like 150 of it. I think freedom of conscience gives you quite a bit. And that'll be nice. Now, my Anglican Church is marginalized, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I am also working on precision tools for Quebec Metalworks. As soon as they are stronger, that will be good for me. Now, how's the diplomatic situation? Okay, we're maxed on liberty desire now. So Britain can't demand state because they're still up in a situation. They're shooting it at Sokoto. Okay, that is what it is. I can't do anything about that, and I'm nearly out of debt, which is also nice. In fact, one more week and I will be, and then I can build whatever I wish. Although part of the reason I was going to say part of the reason I'm able to not be in debt is because my investment pool is building a lot, but they're actually they're using quite a large. Well, okay, all right, there we go. So now let's talk about what else I want for my market. Again, can't go wrong feeding the British glass. So we'll build a few more. We'll build one more level of glassworks in the Maritimes. Furniture manufactories are still a good investment at this stage. Let's build a few more levels in Manitoba. Let's build one level in Manitoba and one level in Northern Columbia. Let's build another level of steel production in Manitoba. And then... Ironclads are expensive. I think I can swap my military shipyards over to steel-hulled ships. I think that'll be just fine long term. Now, we do need more coal, and my country is chock full of it. So, let's throw all the rest of our construction capacity into coal mines for the time being. Alberta doesn't have coal mines yet, so let's build 5 levels. Northern Columbia doesn't have those yet. We'll build 5 levels. And Southern Columbia will build 5 levels. That should be more than enough for Britain's for the entire British market's coal needs for the time being. And that actually means I can now sustainably build this amount for quite a while, which is nice. And my investment pool is going up, which is also nice. my mountains are making construction very slow. But I can do something about that with my road maintenance decrees. I'm going to focus on Northern Colombia and I think Manitoba. Manitoba is technically my capital. It should be pretty thoroughly urbanized. Letters to the Condemned, a stall event. Following the arrest of a prominent opponent to freedom of conscience, Louis-Joseph Asylum has begun a public letter-writing campaign to demonstrate support for them. So this guy's the head of the intelligentsia. He's a nihilist. I hope that you've been well. We are praying for your swift release. The injustice is one that has been mercilessly exposed. All of these and more shuffled inside the mailbag as the courier neared his destination. The letters must flow freely. I can't do anything about that. That's going to make my intelligentsia angry and increase the strength of my Catholic rights movement and reduce its activism. It is what it is. So now the intelligentsia are reducing my prestige, unfortunately, which is a shame, because prestige is one of the things that's helping me get my situation with Great Britain better. But, and that's part of why I built the the Navy. Actually, where else can is there anywhere else I can declare an interest? Not yet. I do want to get one in South America, because I want to be able to, Oh, France won their war. That's exciting. That's very exciting. I think I'm going to start damaging relations with Great Britain. This is tipping my hand a little bit. But, you know, I'm simply remaining flexible. I'm simply doing what I can. I'm simply doing what I can with what I wish. Wow, Britain took a lot of Sokoto. So Britain, give me Newfoundland. Give me Newfoundland. You goobers, give me Newfoundland. Give me the Newf. Ooh, positivist revolt in Austria. Interesting. So, let's improve relations with the Spanish. Now, I do have the ability to pursue my own international agenda at this stage. So I could start going after subjects abroad. I would need to be careful, because I would need to not be doing anything that would lead to problems, but, you know. I could negotiate. I can negotiate with my intelligentsia, but not my industrialists. Mutual exclusivity. Though the freedom of conscience law sees agreement in principle, there are two mutually exclusive clauses. Petite bourgeoisie and industrialists want the law to favor them, while Louis-Joseph Asselin chastises both of them for opportunism. The essence of leadership, so they say, is compromise. An interesting paradox, then, is compromise's weakness. Not compromising is as much the failing as always compromising. This, in all things, lies in the balancing of the ends. Strike a clause, the law needs passing. 50% chance of one of them getting happier and one of them getting unhappy each. Or time for a fresh barrel of ink. Stronger liberal movement. Aslan gets more popular. I think... I'm going to strike a clause and we'll see what happens. Okay, my industrialists became salty, but my petite bourgeoisie became happier. That's okay with me. That's okay with me. We're Tory maxing. Now this number is kind of curious. I don't know where I've gotten all this excess Roman Republic improving relations. Interesting. I don't know where I've gotten all this excess bureaucracy from. Portugal left the British Empire. Well, that is curious. Okay, so I can't do stuff quite yet. If I requested market control, that would deteriorate relations. They're not going to do it, obviously. So let's ask. They said no, that's not shocking. And we'll see. Giving you one last chance. No, I'm not going to give them a chance to give me the noof right now. My economy will undergo a rapid realignment as soon as I declare independence from Britain. Spain's still wary. Prussia will not support my independence. Russia, I'm getting there. This is a long process. Ooh, Bulgarian mass immigration. Wonderful. So my hope is, long term, that maybe I can get independent. Although, like, part of my issue is I'm spending so much in diplomatic pacts, and that's just giving Britain money. It's bananas. Wedge politics. The industrialists' members have set against each other on the freedom of conscience law. This infighting has been blamed on a campaign of harassment by supporters of Louis-Joseph Asylum. It was a simple matter. Don't discuss this topic in the halls, any offices, or even soirees. Out of sight, out of mind, and out of each other's interests. And yet the matter now was out, and the floor was alight. Oaths and agreements now meant nothing before this contentious issue, picked up and split by another caucus. Find a compromise between the factions. Weaker industrialists, happier industrialists, weaker enactment success chance. Return to the matter at hand. Significantly weaker industrialists, reduced enactment success chance, or find a weak link in their ranks and pick at the seams. Weaker intelligentsia, much weaker industrialists, significantly reduced enactment success chance. I'm going to simply return to the matter at hand. That's going to reduce the enactment success chance by the lowest possible amount. That does make the petite bourgeoisie stronger, which gives me a little bit more enactment success chance. Maybe I could appease the intelligentsia by building a bunch of universities. Because building a bunch of universities is actually something that I need to do. It is on the agenda. You know what? Let's move our road maintenance to Alberta. Russia, how could you? Prejudiced employers. Polish people are having a hard time getting employed in the Maritimes due to the prejudices of some Franco-Canadian employers. I went to apply for a warehouse job. They took one look at me and told me the job wasn't for my kind. Work is for everyone. Reduced authority. It's up to the bosses to decide who they hire. Reduced standard of living for Polish in the Maritimes. I'm just going to say work is for everyone. I can take the authority, but that's not too bad. Well, that means I can't move my my decrees right now, which is a bit of a shame, but them's the bricks. I don't necessarily want to negotiate. Ooh, I could negotiate with the industrialists. Yeah, let's do that. Getting them on our side would be good. Alright. Amid much shouting, insults, and regrettable turns of phrase, several paths have emerged that would convince the industrialists to allow freedom of conscience to pass. When a man says he approves of something in principle, it means he hasn't the slightest intention of carrying it out in practice. Place their members in administrative positions. We did this before, but that's a huge bureaucracy penalty now. 30%. Make them significantly stronger, but get us higher enactment success chance. Lowering taxes could help the economy. Leave taxes at very low for 4 years. That's not good. Or let's add some fine print about political concessions. I'm just going to do the political concessions. I think political concessions might be bugged, because it doesn't seem like it works very well. Alright, let's get some heckin' universities built. We need at least a few levels in Ontario. We need another level in Quebec. We need 1 level in each of our other states. We're bringing Manitoba up to 2, and then I think let's concentrate in Northern Columbia for now. So we're building a whole mess of universities, and that's going to be really useful long term. And there's steel railway cars. Beautiful. We'll go to steam trains, we'll go to steel passenger carriages. It's all going to be a great time. Not going to be privatizing ports, but I am going to be subsidizing them. Planted grassroots. Interesting. Advancement. In the scandalous tip by a former newspaper publisher, it has been revealed to the government that a wave of recent anti-freedom of conscience articles have in fact all been written by Louis-Joseph Asselin using different names and styles. This frickin' guy. We hold that no person or set of persons can properly establish a standard of expression for others. William Randolph Hearst. This guy. This guy is a man with history. It seems the opposition is both more and less monolithic than it appears to be. Increased enactment success chance. Or, the public would love to know about this story. Increased enactment success chance by only 5% instead of 10%, but Asylum loses a bunch of popularity. I'm going to pick the second one. That's going to weaken the intelligentsia over time, which is going to be good for me long term. Now, I think my investment pool is increasing at a rapid rate. Do I dare to increase the size of my construction sector even further, knowing that it will continue to cost the country quite a bit? I think the answer is yes. I've got a good reserve now. Obviously, this means I'm going to go into debt with the huge amount of building that I'm currently doing, but it also means that my construction sector will be able to use more of its capacity, and that's good. Because the thing is, basically, anytime your construction sector isn't using its entire capacity, what's happening is your country is not increasing its economy at as fast a rate as it could be. Well, what's this now? Hesse offers to owe us an obligation if we back them in the ongoing diplomatic play against the Hessian nationalist revolt. First of all, where are you? You're over here. Hesse, I don't know how you think I can get involved in this, so I'm going to decline. I don't desire an obligation from you, Hesse. That's one thing. Spain is still wary, but we're getting there. This army needs a little bit more command capacity, so we'll give this fella a promotion. Alright, actually cash flow is doing just fine. We seem to be using only a little bit more of the construction sector than of construction capacity. Okay, no, now it's increasing. Yeah, okay, they just hadn't fully hired yet, I suspect. Yeah, there we go. Still, negative, you know, -5 per week is not at all bad. I've got a significant reserve, so it shouldn't be too bad. A common cost, an advance chance. Seeking to discredit John MacDonald during a speech on freedom of conscience, a heckler inspired by Louis-Joseph Asselin inquired about bread prices. John MacDonald asked a nearby grocer, "Regarding the law that you say is for the betterment of the common man, what is the price of... Are you even listening? This grocer here says it's 2 pence for a loaf of bread. As for your question, it's a rather insipid one, no? A vulgar gambit to shock and discredit me, rather than offer anything of substance to the discourse. Shock tactics are unbecoming of this nation. Asylum loses popularity. John MacDonald gains popularity and increased enactment success chance. Or, we should peruse the law for false. 1% of Anglo-Canadian pops become more loyalist. Not as much enactment success chance. I'm actually going to do the first one, because that gives me a little bit of extra authority. Also, I've currently made Asylum. Wait. That's not the guy. It's one of my agitators. Asylum is one of my agitators. This guy. Yeah, he is deeply unpopular now because of his various public faux pas. Could always produce more iron. Alright, here we go. Beautiful. Infertile grounds. Finding both the Canadian public and supposed political allies unreceptive to his ideas, frustrated, Louis-Joseph Asselin has decided to retire from the realm of politics, opting instead to spend the rest of his days penning embittered reflections on what could have been. I give these bumpkins the truth, and how am I rewarded? With deafening silence. And they call Fort Douglas a city of ideas, of culture. The only evidence of cultivation I've found in that cesspool of a city came from the fields outside of it, and even they were cared for poorly. Good riddance to you all, I say, sirs. Good riddance to you all. Let him peddle his ideas in peace, away from Fort Douglas. He settles domestically, slightly stronger intelligentsia. Or politely inform him that his presence is unwanted in Canada. He is exiled. I'm just going to pick the first one. I think the intelligentsia can be a little stronger. That's not a problem for me. Oh my goodness. Now I could cut a little bit of bureaucratic capacity because I've got plenty. Or I can increase institutions. Stonks. I could increase healthcare. Let's increase healthcare. I could increase home affairs. I should only increase one for now. One day. One day. I could negotiate with the intelligentsia, but honestly, at this point, why bother? 67% enactment success chance. I'm feeling extremely confident in my ability to do this. Now, we're very close to being at lower relations with Britain. They still have not agreed to give me the noof, which I desire. I don't know if anyone calls Newfoundland and Labrador the noof, other than me, but I think it's great. I think it's great. It's a great thing to yell at the British. Give me the noof! Give me the noof! It feels good. And that's why I'm going to do it. Oh my goodness. An Uluru and uprising in Australia. Is Britain involved in this war? They are. It's a shame because in my heart of hearts, I love seeing an Uluru. Every time there's Uluru in Victoria 3, I become happy and I stay that way. It's just, it makes me feel so pleased to see that there's Uluru. And Uluru is you know, my tiny guy, my little friend, my bestest little friend. Now, France, are we? Yes, you are supporting my independence right now. Théophile Archimbault has appeared in Canada. He's a liberal, a jingoist, aligned with the intelligentsia, but part of the liberal movement. Does Great Britain still have... Yeah, they still have their alliances with both the Ottomans and Prussia. It seems like the Ottoman Empire has stayed a great power, which is pretty rare in the game. I wonder if it's just less rare these days, with the ability to like negotiate over laws and stuff like that. Like, I wonder if that's kind of the answer to what's going on here in the Ottomans. Because I feel like that must be. Why are you guys so strong? 75% from Ottoman Empire. Yeah, slave trade and tenant farmers. Okay. Alright, so you didn't really reform. You got to interventionism, but you're still doing a big slavery. Okay. Interesting. Alright, now my universities are getting constructed, which I'm feeling pretty pleased about. Obviously this is going to cost the government a pile of money, but it shouldn't be too much. I think it's 1K per 3 universities. Hey, we're in implementation. Nice. So it shouldn't overall be too much. And anyway, I think after this, I can let the investment pool eat a lot of eat a lot of cash for a bit, eat a lot of construction capacity for a bit, or I could simply keep constructing. Nah, I want to build up a little bit more of a reserve. Just a little bit more of a reserve. The cat can have one or two pieces of fiscal conservatism as a treat. How am I doing on urbanizing the country? I'm at 25%. I need to be at 75 to complete it. So that'll be fine. I could survey a skyscraper site, although that would cost a lot of bureaucracy. I wanna hold back on that for now. And there's precision tools. Beautiful. So Quebec Metalworks is now producing precision tools. That's very, very good. Prestige goods mean you're just in general doing a lot better. Great Britain is improving relations with me. Now, I do have the capacity to expel their diplomats. I don't necessarily wish to go anywhere quite yet. How's Dominion of India? Dominion of India is also pretty high in liberty desire. So basically, if I rise up and India rise up, we'll get the United States, we'll get France, and we'll get, I think, Austria. I had on the docket. Yeah, I'm okay with the power block embassy. Let's do it. And Prussia, what about you? They can't. They don't wish to. So Austria locks down the center of Europe. The Russians will probably step in. I didn't end up getting my alliance with the Americans. But we'll see about that. So if I can push this thing, if I can push this independence situation, there's freedom of conscience. So that gives me a little bit more authority to play with, which I am feeling pretty pleased about. That's a good consumption tax. Whew. I like that consumption tax. Alright, so now, got a lot of universities under construction. So let's take a quick look at where we are with tech. I'm up to 59 per week, innovation-wise. I think after this, because we're going to go after the British, I think the answer is hand-cranked machine gun. And then military statistics is daily org gain. That's also good. Now, do I have the ability to get all the way to the trench works? Not in the short term. Make protectorate in Persia. Britain's going after Kabul for a protectorate. Higher learning. The Prime Minister himself has officially opened the university in Ontario. Academia is beginning to flourish in Canada. Philosophy is the highest calling of mankind. Through philosophy, we can come to understand the very foundations of metaphysics, the nature of the divine, and the essence of virtue. It stands to reason, then, that only the most enlightened of wisdom seekers are fit to hold power. Society should be ruled by philosopher kings, extra university throughput, and increased political strength of academics. So this should increase my set point for fervor, and indeed it is a little bit. Oh, interesting. The Franco-Canadian is having a national awakening, so that's nice. Rotary valve engine here. That's very good. And there's anarchism as well. Love that. Britain. Starts supporting separatism. Oh, right. Because they're holding Newfoundland. And Newfoundland is chock full of Anglo-Canadians. Actually, not that many. It's mostly Irish. That's curious. Britain, we need to talk. 100k peasants and 7k unemployed. Britain, what are you doing over there in Newfoundland and Labrador? Britain, we need to talk. You can't just stuff Newfoundland full of Irish people and then not develop the place. Britain, that's not okay. You're not being sensible here, Britain. And I for one don't care for it. Is Britain still on national supremacy? They are. So they're still discriminating against the Irish pretty bad. Wow. There's an interesting situation going on in Newfoundland and Labrador, and I don't rightly know what to do about it. Well, I mean, I can't do anything about it myself currently right now, but it's something to keep an eye out for. Got some urban centers in the middle of the country. Interesting. Oh, interesting. I've got a little bit of a population shortage in northern Colombia. Maybe we'll fix that with a greener grass campaign. Oh yeah, because I guess I focused development on the central parts of the country, which I'm happy I did. I still think that was the right call. Because there's a lot of good space over there. Alright. Porcelain is still reasonably expensive. I'm going to do a quick check, see if my glassworks wouldn't be better on ceramics, and they won't be. So I'm feeling pretty okay about that. Now, tooling workshops. Let's just take a quick look. Okay, so you're doing just fine with a little bit of labor saving. Now, what about paper mills? You're doing better with labor saving. What about rotary valve? You're doing better with rotary valve. All right, beautiful. Furniture manufactories. You're better. Nice. Griqualand left the British Empire. Interesting. Now, what about motor industries? No, you will not be better. Not even a little bit. Steel mills? Maybe a little bit. Rotary valve engine? No. It's certainly not better with rotary valve engine. No, you'll be a lot better under hand assembly. Alright, you're fine. You're fine. Stay there. Repeating rifles for the arms industries, that's just reasonable. I will admit, I am probably going to need more arms industries to take shots at Britain. Empty pockets. A series of perceived poor decisions by the Catholic rights movement has led to a notable decrease in its ability to raise money. Numerous wealthy sympathizers have quietly halted their support for the movement in its current form. We do not wish to appear partisan. Always the same refrain. The organizer paced back and forth within his tiny office, fist clenched until it felt as if his knuckles were about to burst through his skin. Occasionally he stole a glance at the unopened envelopes on his desk, all of which he knew would repeat a variation on the same. Partisan. What did it mean? Had they cared for something? Had they chosen to do something beyond count the money in their vaults? He had something important to do, something which would improve society itself. They had a chance to do the same. In that light, how could partisanship possibly be bad? Perhaps it will find an alternative source of funds. 2% of pops in Manitoba become more loyalist. Catholic rights movement significantly reduced in strength. Or everything dies in the end, some pass in others. Catholic rights movement way reduced in strength. I'm going to pick the second one. I think a weaker Catholic rights movement is just fine with me. Universities are almost finished. Now, I'm not at my weekly innovation limit, but I'm getting much closer, and I'm able to research much faster now. I'm at about 50% more than I was at when I started. I think I'm actually going to queue in a few more, since cash flow does seem like it's going just fine right now. And I think I'm going to put one more level each in Alberta and Saskatchewan. And in the Northwest Territories and in Nunavut. And then let's bring Quebec up to 5. And do the same with Ontario. Dangerous equipment. Paper mills in the Maritimes have seen an increase in workplace injuries due to increased mechanization and poor safety regulations. Accidents have always happened, but I felt like I used to have time to react. Not this time. I grabbed his arm to pull him out of the way, but I'd barely gotten a hold of his wrist before the arm was all I held on to. Slow down production while the staff adjusts to the new machinery. Weaker industrialists unhappy industrialists reduce manufacturing industry's throughput. Or we cannot put the brakes in the engines of progress. Salty trade unions increase mortality. Then I have to do the first one, unfortunately. Industrialists petition government. John MacDonald, the ever-efficacious leader of the industrialists, has approached the government with a plan to enact tenant farmers. A successful enactment is certain to contribute to his reputation as an effective politician. A word, please. The minister, halfway out the door, startled at the sound. A man stood in the hallway, bearing a leather-bound dossier. MacDonald, he knew. His appearance was unmistakable. Yes, of course, he said. Should I? MacDonald gave a nod and handed over the folder. At least 100 pages, judging by the weight. I'm looking to raise the first draft tomorrow, he said. I would be honored to have your support. We'll see what we can do. They'll expect us to pass tenant farmers. Offer them oligarchy as a compromise. They'll expect us to pass oligarchy instead. Or they must understand the present situation does not allow for this. Reduce legitimacy unhappy industrialists. Let me take a quick look at things here. Tenant farmers. Why would you want tenant farmers when you can have commercialized agriculture for the same price? So, I'm going to take a risk here. I'm going to say we'll see what we can do. No. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Now, if I go to oligarchy, what's the difference at core between technocracy and oligarchy? Technocracy is free company charters and extra companies. So, compared to oligarchy, same legitimacy from government clout, same government size allowance, same amount of authority. Oligarchy is more political strength for aristocrats, and officers. Technocracy is more for academics and engineers. So oligarchy would be opposed by my intelligentsia and my trade unions, which would be pretty significant. It would make... The only movement would be my liberal movement, but it would make my liberal movement unhappy. I'm going to say we'll see what we can do. And... I'm going to see... So I'm going to take a gamble here. See, the industrialists... Where's their land reform thing? They like commercialized agriculture more than they like tenant farmers. So I think if I go to commercialized agriculture and I make it there, this will go away because they will no longer prefer the tenant farmers to commercialized agriculture. I'm taking a risk here with this. We're going to see if it pays off. We're gonna see if I'm making a huge mistake or not. But this is going to be very good long term. Especially in terms of keeping the industrialists in power, because commercialized agriculture is it's very good for the industrialists. Extra financial districts investment into plantations, ranches, and agriculture. Interesting. Yeah, basically it strengthens both the industrialists and the trade unions and weakens the landowners. And weakening the landowners is something I'm always for. Now I could negotiate with the petite bourgeoisie. Let's do that. Let's negotiate with the petite bourgeoisie. And you know what? Ooh, I can vow to pass censorship. That's interesting. But I think we'll go with the good old-fashioned political concessions to get them on board. That'll be fine. That'll be just fine. I'll be so very pleased. Okay. I'm slowly reducing relations with... No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm Midland. I'm Midland. Russia is still domineering towards me. They're trying to get out of laissez-faire and into interventionism, which is curious. Breton mass immigration from France. Interesting. See, if the United States could hurry up and buy Alaska... Well, they can't hurry up and buy Alaska because they don't have the Northwestern Territories yet. Our rousing speech captivates the public. This afternoon, John MacDonald, leader of the industrialists, delivered a fiery speech advocating for the enactment of commercialized agriculture. Making an appearance before the public in Fort Douglas's main square, John MacDonald's powerful rhetoric left even his most embittered political opponents impressed. Excerpts from the speech are already being circulated across Canada, fanning the fires of an already roaring debate. Ease the path to reform greatly? 15% enactment success chance? Or performances like this reflect well on John MacDonald and his cause. 10% enactment success chance instead of 15, 25 popularity for him, and 5% stronger industrialists. I'm going with that second one. Stronger industrialists is good. Alright, the intelligentsia are slowly becoming less unhappy. And as we roll forward with building more universities, again, I am costing the government quite a bit of cash, but I'm also, I'm supporting the paper industry too, I guess. My paper industry is extremely, extremely valuable. Let's go ahead and build some of that in Northern Colombia. I do have labor available there. Scandinavian unification. Oh boy! Did you done do it? You done did it. Scandinavia is actually not that weak a country. The philosophy department. We've secured funding for philosophy departments in all our institutions of higher learning. The University of Northern Colombia has chosen to focus this funding on advancing Hegelian dialectics. Now that we're more or less seated, we can begin. Everything you do at this institution begins and ends with the portmanteau philo, meaning love of, and sophia, meaning wisdom. The love of learning and thought is what philosophy is. Underpinning philosophy is the outlook by which we perceive life, the world, everything in essence. We can't necessarily teach you how to do a specific task here. What we can do is teach you how to learn and how to think about learning on your own. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis, extra university building throughput, or we need a more pragmatic approach, extra progress towards philosophical pragmatism. I don't need philosophical pragmatism. Let's go with the general purpose throughput. It's going to make our military stronger. That's what matters. All right, we're very solidly increasing in innovation now. This is not doing a lot for our GDP, but it is helping us continue to get stronger because we've reached the point where we do start needing to get ahead militarily. I do have the ability to expel British diplomats. We'll see what happens with commercialized agriculture. 73% is a pretty good chance. Top-down, total top-down management. The industrialists have taken an interest in commercialized agriculture. Many industry leaders hope to secure the entire supply chain for their companies. Gentlemen, I present to you a model of the future, McDonaldlandia. This diorama, sourced from pieces of the project, aims to capture the whole production chain. Cut out the middleman, as the high street peddlers like to say. We own the farms to feed the workers, the mines to supply the furnaces, and the cotton for our uniforms. One holistic chain, focusing on the sale and distribution of our final product. Questions? Middle managers will be a thing of the past. Increased economic success chance. Vertically integrated agriculture is added to commercialized agriculture. Extra agricultural construction efficiency. Increased financial districts investment into plantations, ranches, and agriculture. Weaker, reduced political strength of peasants. Increased political strength of capitalists. That's really interesting. The workers will need additional protections. Industrialists upset, trade unions happy. 10% success chance. No other modifiers. Or an interesting proposal, we're taking it. Industrialist mad -3. 10% increase in active success chance. Canada gets vertical integration appropriated, but only until the end of enactment. Increased communism and communist and positivist movement pop attraction. I'm actually gonna go with the workers will need additional protections because making my trade unions feel happier about this is actually very good long term. Now I'm spending quite a bit of cash on these universities. It's getting to be pretty significant. Maybe we take a little break. We build some sulfur mines and some paper mills, just to increase our GDP a bit, and that'll be useful long term because I am starting to really chip away at my cash flow situation. Now I could. No, I can't really reduce bureaucracy because I don't have enough of an excess. Do I have any institutions that I would like to reduce the size of? Not really. I would like to get Home Affairs up by 1 more and Health as well, but that would cost me quite a bit of bureaucracy. Social Security, I could live with increasing. Again, I'm also getting an amendment. Forecast regulations. So it's basically reducing the negative effects of. It's interesting. It's not really. It's not captured here, which I wish it would be. It just seems sensible to capture the entire effects of the thing. I am slowly improving my relations with the Russians. The Spanish, similar. Scandinavians for sure. What if you supported? So you're allied with Austria. You're allied with the Netherlands. Ooh, law progressed to review. What if you supported my independence? Nah, they don't want the smoke on the British. Yeah, them's the breaks. All right, there's gantry cranes. Beautiful. So we're going to grab our fishing and whaling industries, move them over to steam. We're going to grab our shipbuilding industries and move them over to steam as well. We're going to grab our ports, move them over to industrial ports, and that's going to produce a whole mess more convoys. And that seems to have really significantly improved my cash flow situation. Although, nope, never mind. It was just adjusting itself because of the shape of the construction view. But it's fine. Maybe I'll put up a poll. I've played a lot of Victoria 3 in the past few days. I'm still kind of on the fence over if I want to tangle with Great Britain and really get myself free. Because getting India free would be absurdly good. I could get help from the Austrians and the French, and potentially the Scandinavians and the Russians would join in. I don't know about the Spanish. I don't think so. The Russians are a weird edge case because I really do. They want me to be their subject. Yaroslav Dabrowski has been exiled from the United States. A radical aligned with the armed forces. Interesting. And I don't think I could take them in a fight, but I think me and the Americans together could, because the Americans are quite stonky, actually. So I think it's feasible for me to go it alone without the British. I would need to figure out my rubber situation. So actually, let's maybe realign. Ooh, I've got a lot of interests available now. How curious. All right, well, let's declare some interests then. I think I'm going to go after the Marina Kingdom. I know they'll have rubber capacity. I wonder why. I wonder if universities give you interests. I wasn't thinking about it, but it seems like it happened right after I did a huge university expansion. I know the thing that I was chiefly thinking of giving you interest was navies, but it might be universities as well. Wow, I am really spiking the standard of living. My love of building tall and standard of living maxing is a little bit. I'm considering. I'm considering my options. Actually, the population in Northern Colombia is increasing a lot. There's a lot of people moving here. Wow, weekly migration 2K. Whew. All right. This isn't your computer. This is my computer. It doesn't know how to deal with all these interests. Please let me clear the notifications. Victoria 3. Victoria 3. It can't do it. It can't do it. Oh my goodness, I've goobered myself. I've totally goobered myself. I have no choice but to simply continue. Wait, was I not paused that whole time? Uh-oh. Oh man. Oh man. My nerds, I think this might I think I might have destroyed myself. I think I might have crashed my game. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is rough, my nerds. Hold on. I think I can, if I can just get it to load the options, the thing where I can clear the notifications, I think it'll be okay. It's like right here. Tell you what. It's getting to be time for me to stop recording anyways. So this is as good a time to end it as any. We're in the middle of 1882. So yeah, I think this is where we'll cut it, and I'll try to work this out. I think this is ultimately not a problem, but I think it's just, it can't, my computer is having a hard time with Victoria 3 and OBS running at the same time. So, but we've had a pretty good episode. We've done a lot of work. We've done a lot of reforming our laws and all that other whatnot. Yeah, and it's been a good time. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.